Hi everyone, it's Adrienne. I'm doing my second video for my tarot reveal. This is for the Lioness Oracle Tarot by Adrienneleaa. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. It could be different pronunciations depending on the language, but there is a J, so that's what I'm going off of. This is the back of the box, and on the sides there are roses. Now, in the Tarot of the Crone video, which again was my last video, I was talking about how I was naturally drawn to both of these decks, specifically connecting to me on a personal level, and with them, it's also symbolically. And with this deck, the Lioness Oracle connects with me specifically with the pink roses. So if you've seen the backs of the Lioness Oracle, you'll know that they're so beautiful. I'll actually show them to you right now, but I'll go into the guidebook before I go into the cards. And when I saw them, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this deck. This is for me. With pink roses, it does connect a lot with my spirituality and with me personally and other aspects of my life as well. So for pink roses, when I first started my spiritual journey, I worked with the Fae primarily. I still do, but I would often connect with them with pink roses as well as other symbols or other signs. I was often known as the girl who wore flowers in her hair, and the first one that I wore and the one that I wore more on a day-to-day basis compared to the other flowers was my pink rose. And I'm sorry if it looks really dirty, but I do connect the pink roses more with the higher level of love. I am quoting a bit of Osho Zen, the guidebook, where they were talking about the lower level where there's potential for love, love being the balance, and compassion being the highest power, the highest level of love, which does connect with the pink roses for me. I do put pink roses on my rabbit's cremates, who is on the Maka altar, the Queen of the Fae, and another sign that I did get from the Fae were from when I was thrift shopping, actually, and I got a phone case with a bunch of roses. So, and I'm growing roses outside, actually. I got this case a while back, a couple months ago, actually, so it's been a while. It's not like I saw this deck and then I got the case, but I'll go into the guidebook as I said. I'm sorry for a long introduction, but I do have high appreciation for the roses here because it's so distinctive, but it's what makes the deck. I was reading the backstory, and it does talk about it in the guidebook too, where she created this deck after the death of her father, who gifted her her first tarot deck, and they were really close. So you definitely feel that type of nurturing, calming, healing energy, and also there is a powerful energy that comes from it. Just because it is more of a lighter type, a lighter deck, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have, again, a stronger energy. So her last name does mean lioness, so it is fitting that she has a lot of cats in here and lionesses and lions. So there are a couple of things in this book that I'll briefly go over with the introduction. This is the front. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. And the introduction with the acknowledgments, the guidelines for the Lioness Oracle Tarot, the card reversals. I love how there's numerology in here, but before that there's tips for centering, shielding, and grounding yourself. So it does go into a page-by-page card reveal in the book, and it doesn't have a lot, but it has enough, which is what I like. I don't like reading too much of it, but I do like how it has the general meaning for the card, and then there are the meanings at the bottom, or I would like to say that they're more of synonyms for that meaning, or for certain meanings, with the ruling planet on each of the cards. This is also a collage deck, So for those who may like that or may not be a fan of that, and it does look more of a dreamy type of galaxy deck as well. So again, this is the deck. It is more of a size of an oracle. It's gilded with gold. It looks like it's brushed on rather than having those almost, I don't want to say wrappery, but plastic type of gilding with the gold. So it's nice and it looks delicate. There's also light sparkles on here, which you do see in the box as well. Inside the box, there's also roses. And I believe that there is a symbolic value for the roses as well. Because I failed to mention that. And I also didn't mention that the paper in here, either I've been seeing it in newer decks or more recent decks where they have this type of paper, or I was thinking that since she's a collage artist that she would, she wanted to do that with the guidebook. So, up for interpretation. There are 94 pages if you're curious. They are thicker cardstock, which is nice. But they are easy to shuffle. So I already have these shuffled. I have used this deck a number of times. And when I do my card reveals, I don't like putting them in order, just in case you would like to see more than one suit if the people don't reveal all the cards in the deck. And usually, a lot of the times it's for major arcanas, and I want to see if the minors really speak to me too. So I'll give it a shuffle. You can get it off of her website for $60, and you are able to pay with PayPal. But when I saw this deck, I acted on it immediately, because you'll never know with those self-published decks when one day they're just not going to be there, even for mass-produced. So I may have been a bit impulsive on this purchase, but I'm very happy that I got it, and it definitely speaks to me on a soul level. So a couple more of me shuffling. And as I was saying with the levels of love, when I think about red roses, which she does have red roses in here, but I feel like it's more of a passionate type of sexualized type of love, which again, going back to the Osho Zen guidebook, is potential for love, but not necessarily love. So when I saw pink roses, it was perfect. Okay, I'm going to see what card I got. The King of Pentacles. And with this deck, it's more of reading it intuitively, at least for me, not thinking too much of what's on the card, which it is better to, well, for me to read intuitively anyway, but not to look too much of what the card has on it, but rather than to go off of it right away. I try to snap, I can't snap, but it's so gorgeous. And that's David Bowie, I believe. I don't know him very well, but I know that he's an artist, so it does make sense that he's on the star card. Because if I look too closely at what's on the card, I tend to get I tend to not be that drawn into the card. I don't know if that makes sense. I always say something and it makes sense in my head, and then when I talk about it, it doesn't really register as well as I thought it would. And also being a clairvoyant, I do tend to read more with not as much of reading the symbols on the card anyway, or the different things on the card. But people read differently, so I don't want to say it and it comes out that I said it offensively. Because the more I talk about it, I feel like the worse it sounds, or the worse I'm making it for myself. By the way, I'm a Libra, so I really like that. It reminds me of leprechauns, and I loved leprechauns when I was younger. I still do. But when I was younger, especially at my godmother's house, she had major leprechauns underneath her house or on her lawn. Because whenever my brother and I would walk on her lawn, we would always apologize. And then it wasn't until like a year or two ago, I read up on it, and they live underground. I'm going to show a couple more cards. And then I may do a separate video where I do a reading with it. So I'll see. 2, 3. And then I'll do the last card on the top, which is Judgment, and what's in the bottom, the 3 of Wands. And it's cool with the 3 of Wands because that was the extra in the Tarot of the Crone. I did get the 3 of Wands as one of the goodies that she put in when you order the deck. And I did mention that I did get the 3 of Wands when I got the Dame Darcy because there were extra cards in the deck. So that was the video. I hope that it was a little informative. I know it was more of a reveal, but thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see everybody in my next video.